This is the moment the signal died. If you were watching Fox News last night at 9 p.m. Eastern, you witnessed something that hasn't happened in 10 years. You witnessed the end of the symbiotic relationship that built the modern American right. President Trump was standing at the podium in the briefing room, red-faced, shouting about law and order, and trying to justify the catastrophic events that had just unfolded in Dallas. He was mid-sentence railing against criminal pastors and sanctuary cities when the unthinkable happened. For 3 seconds, there was dead air. No sound, no image, just the void. And when the picture came back, it wasn't the President of the United States. It wasn't the White House seal. It was the Fox News studio in New York. And the anchor, visibly shaken, holding a piece of paper that was trembling in his hand, looked directly into the camera and said 5 words that broke the MAGA coalition forever. "We cannot show you this." He didn't say, "We are having technical difficulties." He didn't say, "We lost the feed." He said, "We cannot show you this." Why? Because what the president was defending and what the Murdoch empire has decided it can no longer defend was the turning of an American house of worship into a literal war zone. As of this morning, Thursday, January 29th, 2026, the truce is over. Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch have pressed the nuclear button on the Trump presidency. The New York Post cover this morning is not a pun. It is not a joke. It is a single black and white photo of a tear-gassed child being carried out of a church with one word in blood red font: unforgivable. The Wall Street Journal Editorial Board has called for the president's resignation. And Donald Trump, he is currently locked in the residence, reportedly smashing electronics, trying to call into Fox and Friends, only to find that his number, the most famous number in the world, has been blocked. In this deep dive special report, we are going to break down the Holy Grace massacre in Dallas that forced Fox to turn. We are going to analyze the Murdoch calculus, why they chose this moment not to execute the betrayal. And we are going to look at the terrifying reality of a president who has lost his megaphone, his money, and his mind all in the same week. The king has no clothes, and now he has no camera. To understand the media betrayal, you have to understand the violence that triggered it. This wasn't a standard ICE raid. Pause. This was a siege. The target was the Holy Grace Tabernacle in Dallas, Texas. This is not a liberal church. This is not a woke institution. It is a massive, conservative, evangelical megachurch with 15,000 members. It is the heart of the Texas GOP base. Pastor Jeremiah Walz has prayed with Trump in the Oval Office. But Pastor Walz had a secret. For the last 6 months, as the mass deportation raids intensified, he had opened the church's massive basement gymnasium to shelter undocumented families, mostly mothers and children who were terrified of the Trump force squads. He called it the Jericho Sanctuary. Yesterday afternoon at 4:30 p.m., the Federal Rapid Response Team, the same unit that shot Sarah Jenkins in Minneapolis, arrived. They didn't knock. They didn't serve a warrant to the church elders. They used an armored personnel carrier, APC, to breach the front gates of the church complex while the youth choir was practicing. Witnesses describe
a scene of absolute chaos. 50 federal agents in tactical gear stormed the sanctuary. When the church security team, mostly retired cops, tried to stop them, the feds didn't de-escalate. They fired flashbang grenades into the narthex.
The smoke filled the main hall. The choir kids, ages 8 to 12, began screaming. Pastor Walz ran out to the steps holding a Bible, begging them to stop. "This is holy ground," he screamed on the live stream that was broadcasting the choir practice. An agent struck him in the face with the butt of a rifle. The pastor went down, bleeding from the head. But the worst was yet to come. The agents breached the basement. They used tear gas in an enclosed space filled with women and toddlers. Panic ensued. A stampede toward the single exit. Dozens were trampled. 3 children are currently in critical condition at Parkland Memorial Hospital with crushed chests and chemical burns in their lungs. The The visuals were apocalyptic. Nuns being handcuffed, children vomiting from gas on the church lawn, the pastor, a pillar of the community, being dragged away in zip ties, his face covered in blood, while the agents tore down the wooden cross in the lobby to make room for the
IR tactical gear. This wasn't law enforcement, it was sacrilege. And it happened live on the church's Facebook feed, which was quickly picked up by local news and then by Fox. Now let's go inside the headquarters of Fox News in New York. Sarcastic. Usually when a story like this breaks, the spin room goes into overdrive. The pastor was harboring criminals. The agents were attacked first. It's the Democrats' fault for open borders.
But last night, the spin didn't work. Why? Because the victims were evangelicals. The people in that church were Fox News viewers. The pastor was a Fox News guest. You cannot spin an attack on your own audience. According to leaks from Vanity Fair and the Drudge Report, a conference call took place at 5 p.m. between Lachlan Murdoch, CEO, Suzanne Scott, Fox News CEO, and the top anchors. Lachlan Murdoch reportedly said, "We are not defending this. This is a bridge too far. He attacked a church in Texas. If we defend this, we lose the Christians." It was a cold, calculated business decision. They looked at the Japan crash, which hurt their advertisers. They looked at the nurse shooting, which hurt their suburban ratings. And they looked at the Holy Grace raid, which killed their religious credibility. They realized that Donald Trump had become a liability to the Fox Corporation. The order went down, cut him loose. The 9 p.m. bro.
Broadcast was the execution. When Trump took the podium to defend the raid, calling the pastor a coyote and the children human shields, the control room in New York had the green light. They let him speak for 2 minutes, just enough to let him hang himself with his own cruelty, and then they cut the feed.
The anchor's monologue that followed will go down in history. Ladies and gentlemen, what we just saw in Dallas is not law enforcement. It is not conservative. It is a violation of the sanctity of the church, and it is a violation of the American conscience. We cannot, in good faith, broadcast the president's defense of the indefensible. He didn't blame the deep state. He blamed the president. It was the first time in 10 years that Fox News officially broke with the MAGA narrative on a breaking news story. The shockwave was instantaneous. If Fox News was the slap in the face, the print media was the knife in the back. The Murdoch empire is coordinated. When they move as a phalanx. The New York Post. This is Trump's favorite paper. He reads it every morning. It is his hometown tabloid. Today's cover is devastating. Unforgivable. The subheadline, Trump's goons gas kids in church raid. Passed
Or beaten, president laughs, enough. The editorial inside is titled "The Madman in the High Tower." It calls him unhinged, dangerous, and unworthy of the office. It brings up the asset seizure, mocking him as a fake billionaire who destroys churches because he can't build anything himself.
The Wall Street Journal. This is the voice of the money. The editorial board, which has been skeptical of Trump's tariffs but supportive of his judges, went full scorched earth. Headline, "The End of Order." The text reads, "A president who cannot distinguish between a drug cartel and a Sunday school is not fit to command the executive branch. The raid in Dallas was a gross abuse of federal power that violates the core tenets of religious liberty. Combined with the economic malpractice of the Japan crisis, Mr. Trump has proven himself to be an agent of chaos. The Republican Party must intervene before there is nothing left to save." They didn't just criticize the raid, they linked it to the economy. They are telling the donors he is bad for business and bad for religion. Dump him. This is the signal the Senate Republicans were waiting for. Mitch McConnell's successor doesn't take orders from Trump. He takes orders from the Wall Street Journal edit.
Oriole page. Now that the Journal has turned, the Senate is free to turn. Size. The reaction inside the White House was, predictably, nuclear. We have sources in the West Wing telling us about the scene in the residence last night. Trump was watching Fox when the feed cut. He thought the TV was broken. He threw the remote. When the anchor started criticizing him, he went pale. He screamed, shouting, "Get Lachlan on the phone! Get Hannity!"
He tried to call. And this is the detail that is driving him insane. They didn't pick up. For 10 years, Donald Trump has had a direct line to the Fox hosts. He could call into the shows live. He was the executive producer-in-chief. Last night, he was sent to voicemail. He tried to call the control room. Blocked. He tried to call Rupert Murdoch's personal cell. Disconnected. The realization hit him. He has been deplatformed by his own propaganda machine. Without Fox, he cannot reach the boomer base. He cannot spin the narrative. He is just a man shouting at a camera that isn't broadcasting. So he went to Truth Social. At 11 p.m., the posts started. The globalist Murdochs have betrayed the movement. They are working for the Democrats. Lachlan is a rhino. Fox is dead. Watch OAN. Watch Newsmax. He posted the personal phone number of the Fox anchor who cut him off, which was quickly taken down by moderators. Yes, even Truth.
Social moderators are panicking. But here is the problem. OAN and Newsmax have 10% of the audience of Fox, and Truth Social is an echo chamber. He needs Fox to reach the swing voters. He needs Fox to reach the donors. By declaring war on Fox, he is severing his own jugular vein. Why did Fox do it? Why take the risk? Because of the evangelical fracture.
The Holy Grace raid was a strategic error of titanic proportions. Trump assumed the evangelicals would stick with him no matter what. He gave them the Supreme Court. He thought he owned them. But attacking a church crossed the line of God versus Caesar. We are seeing prominent evangelical leaders, Franklin Graham types, the people who laid hands on him in 2016, issuing statements of condemnation. The state has no right to enter the house of God with weapons. Tear gassing children in a sanctuary is an act of evil. Fox News saw this data. They saw the internal polling. If they defended the raid, they would lose the Bible Belt. If they attacked Trump, they might lose the MAGA diehards, but they would keep the churchgoers. They chose the church. This creates a split in the Republican base that cannot be healed. On one side, the Trump or death cultists who think the pastor was a traitor. On the other side, the family values voters who are horrified.
By the violence. Pause. A divided base cannot win a midterm. A divided base cannot stop an impeachment. The legal ramifications of the raid are already hitting the docket. The American Center for Law and Justice, ACLJ, a massive conservative legal group, has announced they are representing Pastor Walz. They are suing the federal government for violation of the First Amendment, free exercise of religion, violation of the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure, excessive force.
This isn't the ACLU suing Trump. This is his own lawyers suing him. Jay Sekulow, who defended Trump in the first impeachment, is now giving press conferences condemning the raid. The Constitution does not end where the president's ego begins, Sekulow said this morning. This lawsuit will drag out. We will see discovery. We will see body cam footage of agents hitting a pastor. Every day this is in the news is a day Trump loses support. And Fox News will cover the lawsuit. They will cover it as a religious liberty crusade against a tyrannical government. Trump has handed them the perfect narrative to destroy him with conservative talking points. Let's look at the business side. Fox Corporation stock has been volatile. Advertisers were getting nervous about the Civil War rhetoric. MyPillow ads aren't enough to sustain a network. They need pharma. They need auto. Those advertisers don't want to be associated with a nurse killer.
Are a church raider. Lachlan Murdoch is a businessman. He sees the wipeout poll. He sees the Make America Go Away movement. Size. He knows Trump is a sinking asset. The goal of Fox is not to elect Trump. The goal of Fox is to make money. Trump used to be good for business. Now he is bad for business. The Japan crash hurt Fox's bottom line too. The calculation was simple. Dump the toxic asset before he takes the network down with him.
They are pivoting to the next generation. Watch who they book tonight. DeSantis, Kemp, Youngkin, the sane Republicans. They are auditioning the replacement. They are telling the audience, Trump was great, but he's lost his way. Here is the new guy. There is a rumor of a hot mic recording from the Fox control room during the blackout. Audio supposedly leaked to The Intercept captures the producers shouting, "Cut him! Cut him now! He's calling the pastor a terrorist! We can't air this!" Sir, the White House is calling. Tell them to go to hell. We are not airing a manifesto. If this audio is authenticated, it proves that the break was emotional and immediate. It wasn't just a corporate memo. It was human disgust. The producers in that booth have a line. Trump crossed it. It humanizes the media machine. Even the propaganda arm has a breaking point. We need to analyze the footage from inside the church. It looks like Gaza. It looks like Ukraine. Pews overturned, stained glass shattered by rubber bullets, a baptismal font knocked over, water mixing with blood on the floor. This imagery is potent. For conservative Americans, the church is the center of life. Seeing it desecrated by federal agents wearing police patches breaks the back the blue conditioning. They can't back this blue. This forces a cognitive dissonance that breaks the MAGA spell. If the police are attacking the church, are the police the bad guys? Once you ask that question, the whole worldview crumbles. So, where are we? Trump is in the bunker. His Twitter is shouting into the void. His TV network has turned on him. His paper has turned on him. His church has turned on him. He is the most famous man in the world, and he has never been more invisible. Without the amplifier of the Murdoch media, Trump is just a man in a room's grave.
Aiming at clouds. The echo chamber has been breached. Reality is flooding in. And the reality is the raid on Holy Grace was the end of the holy alliance between Trump and the right. He traded the church for the police state. And in America, you never bet against the church. Subscribe. We will be covering the lawsuits. We will be covering the primary challenges that are about to start. Whispers, the king is dead. Fox News just buried him.
Watch Ron DeSantis, or the 2026 equivalent. He is on Fox tonight. He will condemn the raid, but he will do it carefully. He will say, I would never let feds attack a Texas church. I believe in states' rights. He will position himself as the competent Trump. The Murdochs are going to pour billions of dollars of free airtime into the alternative. They will build the new savior in real time, right in front of Trump's face. And Trump will have to watch it from his residence, unable to call in and stop it. It is the ultimate torture for a narcissist, watching your replacement being groomed on your own show. Trump is telling people to watch OAN, but OAN has distribution problems. It isn't in every airport. It isn't in every waiting room. Fox is the ambient noise of America. If Trump loses the ambient noise, he loses the casual voter. He keeps the cult, but he loses the country. And you can't govern with 30% of the country, especially when you just tear gas the other 70%. There is a final terrifying angle. Trump might try to use the FCC to revoke Fox's license. He has threatened it before. They are broadcasting lies, treason. If he tries to shut down a major news network because they criticized him, that is the end of the First Amendment. That is the moment the Supreme Court has to step in. And remember, the Supreme Court is Catholic/evangelical. They saw the church raid too. They are not going to save him this time. Gorsuch, Barrett, Kavanaugh, they are religious. They are horrified. Trump has no allies left on the bench for this fight. The ICE Warzone wasn't just a raid. It was the moment the conservative movement decided to survive Donald Trump rather than die with him. The divorce is final. and Trump is not getting custody of the base.